5 losses in 10 games. As we had comments from others during the watch along, if that's another country and now 4 straight losses, that guy's on the hot seat.
Let's say you don't know who the coach is, you don't know who the team is. You just know you're a year out from a World Cup and you've had some poor performances leading up to this Gold Cup. All right, I'm not just a tournament. And you got 2 friendlies against good competition ahead of this tournament. You lost the first game 2-1, and everybody and their mom was saying, "Oh, it's all positives. Everything was positive. We got a lot of positive." Which to me, which to me, Tony and Jimmy, I was confused as hell when everyone's like, "Oh, so many positives. It was really great. We did," and I'm thinking, did y'all watch the same game I watched?
There weren't so many positives.
Like, sure, there were some good things, but we lost at home to Turkey in a friendly and a beatable side. Yeah, they have some good players, but they lack pace in a lot of areas. We got beat. So I'm going to ask you this. The next game, you make 9 changes. What does that tell you about that coach in that scenario? Would you say that coach knows his players?
No, absolutely not. And by the way, you're going to make 9 changes again coming up on Sunday because you can't play this team against Trinidad. You just can't.
I agree. So now you go back to
the
issue we had in the first place.
So how alarming is that to begin with? You're going to make 9 changes in a game where now we're ramping up and everything seemed to be a little bit more important. You should have a good idea of who can play and who can't, who's going to be a contributor and who can't. I don't think we have to play that guessing game at this stage, but you make 9.
Okay. Well, let's have a real conversation then about Mauricio Pochettino. Mm-hmm. And if this is where we are and he doesn't know the player pool at this point, how much homework is he actually doing? And is he putting eyeballs on? I don't know. Is he relying on his assistants to do it? Is he putting his own eyeballs on this? Like I have a lot of questions as to.
Let me just say this, Jimmy, to finish before, because I know where you're going. What I'm going to say is I'm not going to assume that he's not doing work, but what I can say from what I see, too many players are being played out of position. Too many players are getting opportunities that I don't think should necessarily be getting that opportunity or that chance based on their level, not their playing time, based on their quality. For instance, in the first game, Jack McGlynn is playing as a right winger. Yes, he scored, but is that a place where you really see him having success when he has no pace, he has no quickness, he's not a one-on-one player, although he got that ball cut in on his left and scored, but he's not a winger. So how does that help set your team up for success? Because ultimately you're unbalanced. I go back to some of these substitutions he's made, putting in, Nathan Harriel to start, who was a call-in guy, right? He was a replacement guy, and now he's getting the start. I just can't figure it out. I really can't.
Well, if he's leaving some guys at home because of footballing decisions, Scally, Sargent. Obviously, if those 2 guys were in the team, we'd be a little bit more solid. And it's okay that those are a couple of reasons. We have other guys that are out for injuries and what have you. So I don't know. I just feel like we should have a conversation. We can almost leave his name out of it. Big Tones. 10 games he's coached, 5 wins, 5 losses. We don't even have a draw in there, which I find interesting that we couldn't scrape out a draw against a tough opponent or, manage the game to get a draw, whatever. And we're getting into the weeds here, but 5 losses in 10 games. As we had comments from others during the watch along, if that's another country and now 4 straight losses, that guy's on the hot seat. And because of his big name, because of what he brings, he's going to get the pass. But he has to take responsibility for what's happening as well, because maybe his ideas aren't being executed at the level. Yeah, of course, the players have to take their but a proper coach, proper leader is going to
The roster was unbalanced to begin with.
Right, so that's on him.
Yes, 100%. How many wingers did they bring? Can you name me one real winger?
Like a proper winger?
Yes, on this team.
I mean, you started McGlynn at wing in the first match. Right?
Quinn Sullivan, is that your only winger? And we're not talking. This is not an experienced winger. This is your only winger that you brought into camp.
Yeah.
Is that not alarming to you?
It is. Yeah, I'm looking at
look,
the roster now.
Yeah, but Mauricio Pochettino, look, when the team doesn't do well, the manager takes the heat. I mean, that's everywhere in the world. Okay, we're not nearly as sort of trigger happy, if you will, here in the U.S. He's not going anywhere. He's got to figure this stuff out. He's got it 1 year from tomorrow to figure this stuff out. That's what he's got left. I think he figured out some things tonight, and they're all some guys that he probably doesn't think he can trust in this. And I think we're going to see that reflected in what he puts on the field in the Gold Cup. For me, more than ever, the most important thing in the Gold Cup for me now is winning. Because if you don't start to build a winning culture and you start losing a string of games, I was talking to a friend today, one of my best buddies, and we were talking about it. I said, look, if the U.S. plays shitty in the World Cup and wins the World Cup, like no one talks about.
No one cares.
No one cares. You play great and get knocked out, and I'm exaggerating both examples to make a point, but you play great and get knocked out in the first round, you're getting hammered, bro. Mm-hmm. No matter how great you played, your mission is success for me. I'm saying it. I want to see the next team that gets, for me, the next successful World Cup team is the team that gets to the semifinals of the World Cup. We were already in a quarterfinal in 2002. Didn't get it done. Almost did, but didn't get it done. We could talk about, did we get robbed, all that stuff? Yeah, we probably got robbed a little bit, but we didn't get the job done. The next successful team for me is the team that gets to the semifinals of the World Cup. Period. Mm-hmm. That's it, because that's the next step.